Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
All right, everybody. If you've been listening to this for 443 episodes, you probably know I have an obsession with many things. One of them has been Olivia Newton-John, who unfortunately passed away this week at the very young age of 73.
Yeah, well, she's been battling cancer for a while.
For a long time.
And like very heroically and also very outspokenly about people getting treatment and getting early treatment. And she did a lot of great work in that regard. It's a thing that a lot of people keep private, and she probably impacted a ton of people's lives just by being so public about her own battle. And I give her huge credit for that.
You see, 15 years, she's had it, I think she's had it like 3 or 4 times. She's
30
always
years.
been out there.
30 years.
Yeah, so that's tough. But I'd like to say early teens, but mid-teens, I was very obsessed with her. And I have told the story.
So you're going to tell a story of sneaking?
I don't know.
Tell the sneaking in story.
Tell it again, because
it's worth telling.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Okay. So it's like 1980 something, one or two. I'm like 15-ish. I've had this Olivia Newton-John obsession. So for me to go back, I saw Grease and I liked Grease. It's 78. For whatever reason, back in the old days of sort of cable, and the only movie channel was HBO at the time, they played Xanadu a lot. And I just became obsessed with her in my 14, 15-year-old self, seeing Xanadu for whatever reason. Which is not the greatest movie, but I'm like, oh my God, I started buying her albums and stuff.
Out of respect for the dead, I'm not even going to touch your not the greatest movie comment. We'll just leave that one alone.
But I watched it, even though back then I knew it was that. Although you gotta love her for what it is. It had a lot of stuff in it. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So anyway, I hear she's on Saturday Night Live. She's gonna be the host of the season finale Saturday Night Live. And I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta get tickets. Saturday Night Live back then, and probably still now, you wrote in for tickets months in advance to get them.
Yeah, it wasn't like something you could buy tickets for either. You had to write in and get chosen, and it still is a whole thing.
It's still a whole thing. So my brother went to school with a guy whose father was the director of Saturday Night Live. So I said, hey, can you call this guy? It was summer, college was out. He called him. No, this is season finale. No way you can get tickets. But he said, hey, look, there's 2 ways to do this. You can go first thing Saturday morning. They give away any extra tickets to the live show at 11:30. If that doesn't work, right after that, they give away any extra tickets for the dress rehearsal. Dress rehearsals at 7:30. Much more doable. At least when you're 15 and need to go to the city by yourself to go do something that your parents are like, what are you talking about? So anyway, this was back before it was super like, you don't go to the city by yourself. It was okay to sort of do. I would go with friends. So I got one of my friends who was not interested at all to be like, just come with me. We're going to the city, going to record stores, going to do whatever. There you go.
May 22nd, 1982.
Yeah. So we took the early train. I lived in New Jersey at the time. Went through the thing. Are there tickets for the 11:30 show? No. Are there tickets for the 7:30 show? No. I'm like, okay, out of luck. So we're like, let's figure out what to do. So 30 Rockefeller Center, that's where they filmed Saturday Night Live and the Today Show and all that stuff. And now the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon's there too. We're walking around. A beautiful complex, and there's this whole basement level with all these different stores, like, a bakery and all this stuff. So we're just milling around, just looking to see what's going on. And I see a door that says fire stairs. I'm like, fire stairs.
Yeah, as one would, yes.
I would think fire stairs go up to all the floors. So, and I would also think that the door's locked to get into. I'm sure you can come down and go out, but locked to go into. And it wasn't. So this is sort of still like noonish or whenever it was. And we're trying to see what the story is. So we go in the fire door. We go up to the 8th floor where they film Saturday Night Live. And we're milling around, and there's people doing stuff. No one's saying anything. And like, oh, my God, this is how you get in. So here's the plan. In 7 hours, we're going to come back when they're doing the dress rehearsal, because I called my parents. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got tickets for the dress rehearsal. You don't have to come pick me up at 1 in the morning or whatever. They weren't going to let me take the train back that late. So we'll do that. So we go around the city, do the thing, hit Jerry Ollinger's movie material store, if you remember that place. We sold posters and everything. Anyway, come back 7 o'clock. We'll go in there. Once we go in the lobby, once we see people going, you have to wait in the lobby, then take the elevators up to the 8th floor. You can see all that stuff. So once that happened, we'll get out of this fire stairs. We'll just mill into the crowd, and there we go. So we do that. There's a bunch of people. Then they're all waiting in line, and we're going in line. And then they start asking for tickets. And I'm like, I really had thought they would have taken your tickets downstairs, and apparently they didn't. So the guy comes up to us and was like, ticket? I'm like, what do you mean ticket? I gave it to the guy downstairs. He's like, this is not like something I did, but I was just thinking on my feet. This was obviously important. So I'm like, he's like, all right, stand off to the side. Let me get everyone in. Gets everyone in. It's like,
because they wouldn't have assumed anyone would have made it up that far had they not shown somebody a ticket.
Exactly. Thank you, Barry. So I'm like, some guy in a blue jacket, just like you're wearing, because the pages were these navy blue lasers, said tickets and took my ticket. And I'm like, oh my God, I rode away for these tickets for 6 months, blah, blah, blah. I'm in the city. I mean, this is ridiculous. The guy stole my ticket. What am I supposed to do? He said, okay, all right, calm down. And I was being all like that. And he's like, look, everyone's in. If there's any seats left, grab one. If not, sit on the stairs off to the side. So he was putting us in the balcony. So Saturday Night Live is set up, if you've seen it, there's a handful of seats on the ground, maybe like 30. It's not a very small studio. And then the balcony's got this long balcony. It's got maybe 8 or 10 rows. So front row in the balcony, there's one seat. And I grab the seat, and my friend sits on the stairs. And then as they're starting to show, I'm just literally hanging over the balcony looking down. And the first scene is Olivia in some freaking dressing room scene. And she's 3 feet below me or 10 feet below me or whatever it was. And that just made my day. So
Dave, seriously, that made your day?
That made my year, probably.
Okay, come on, be honest.
And
it was awesome.
No surprise that you grew up to be in sales.
Yeah,
because you can bullshit your way into anything.
I will also say that I have benefited from Dave's advanced skills in getting in somewhere where you're not supposed to be.
That's true too.
And he is very skilled in this regard. It really has a lot to do with looking like you're supposed to be there. But Dave is somewhat of a master on this.
Well, they even wrote that into the trailer for Andor, right? Andor is talking about if you want to steal from the Empire, you act like you belong.
But
yeah,
again,
totally
in fact, I would say by virtue of the New York Comic Con, all 3 of us have benefited from Dave's skill set. So
this is true.
That's
the
good.
epilogue to that story, and it has not really been a story about Olivia. May she rest in peace. So years later, I'm in college. I went to school in Manhattan. And I'm doing a whole bunch of photography stuff with me and a guy from our photography class. We got to go take pictures. Wind up at Rockefeller Center taking pictures of architecture and stuff like this. I'm like, hey, I remember this. We could go in and go walk around like David Letterman studios. And if we go in this fire exit down in the basement. So I'm like, let's do it. So we go in the same door we had gone, years before, and I had never gone out that door. I had gone the first time we went in the door and then just took the regular elevator down, and then when I saw the show, obviously went up. So we walked up half the flight of stairs, and there is a metal grate, a metal door, like those sort of grate doors made out of like wire or chicken wire or like whatever, and with an alarm on it. So there is no going through those things.
The technical term for that is a Pisani barrier.
Or down. So that's the crazy thing. So like, all right, there's no going up. Let's just get out of here. For whatever reason, as a fire door, it was locked going out. We were literally between 2 locked doors and could not get out. And so they obviously, I guess people must have been doing what I did and going up there. So maybe there was a different fire exit or whatever. So we were in there for well over an hour we're like, all right, we're finally like, we're pounding on the door in case anyone walks by. No one's listening. Like, we're going to have to go through the sort of the great fire, the alarm door, and just whatever happens.
Set off the alarm. Yeah.
Like, all right, let's just pound a little more. Then if we don't, we got to get out of here. Finally, someone actually opened the door. Like, where are you coming from? Like, oh, we took a wrong turn. It was the craziest thing because you never would have thought it would be locked leaving.
Yeah,
that makes no sense, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to Olivia. It's funny. A friend of mine posted on Facebook is like, Olivia Newton-John, rest in peace. Celebrity crush for many. Our first celebrity crush for many. I never considered that. I thought it was like me and a handful of other people I knew, and no one else was into her. But apparently not. I don't think she was my first celebrity crush because I was in my early teens. Do you guys remember your first celebrity crush? I mean, I think I know who Todd's is.
Yeah, and I think I know who yours is, right? Yours was. I think I just texted a picture, but
yes, mine was Batgirl, and I told her that when I met Yvonne Craig.
Yep.
It was also Barbara Feldon from Get Smart.
Yep.
Then I had a lot. My mother used to be like, "Are you a sex maniac? Because why do you like all these girls?" Then it was Jeannie. Then it was Farrah Fawcett, and then it was Olivia. So Olivia wasn't the first, but I will say she was the last. She was my last real. Then I was able to get real human girls in the flesh.
To talk to you. Real women talk to you, and then it was over. Yeah.
I would say, I mean, I am a little bit younger than you guys, not by that much, but I want to say that.
But just to qualify this, if it's someone from the cast of Willow,
no,
we're going to be creeped out. Okay, we're going to be creeped out.
Well, Willow's wife doesn't count.
Okay,
no, I would say probably like Valerie Bertinelli from One Day at a Time was probably my first. But I also I went back and forth between Ginger and Marianne quite a bit.
Yeah,
so.
As we all did.
Yes, and then Jacqueline Smith from Charlie's Angels.
Yeah,
but Batgirl was it for me. And I met Batgirl. I met Barbara Feldon. I met Barbara Eden. I did not meet Olivia in person.
Yeah,
I
never met Diana Rigg, but I do think definitively that was like the first time I ever recognized that I was watching something because I was interested in the woman. that
was. I remember being so excited when the Batgirl motorcycle would drive past in the credits, knowing that was a Batgirl episode.
Yeah,
not knowing at the time that those were only season 3 episodes. I just thought, oh, she's in some, she's not in others.
Shows up, randomly.
It's not until years later.
I actually had the same thing because where I saw them as repeats, often they didn't even air in sequence.
Yeah,
so you could see half a story. Did. You could see half a story and then see another random episode.
Yeah,
and
So Dave, did you have a favorite Olivia Newton-John song?
I was thinking about that. That's a tough one. It wasn't that physical song. That I liked that album. I actually liked her album before that. She had a lot of country albums, and I have them all. I had them all, and I still have them all. And there's some I didn't even like them at the time. They were very country. Nothing's wrong with country, but there's a couple in that album right before that physical album that I liked. I'm trying to think. I only have a handful on my iPhone because people were like, "Oh, we're talking about it." Work
to them over and over and over.
Yeah. But I don't know. Nothing really stands out for some reason.
I would go with Magic from the Xanadu soundtrack.
That is definitely on my top 5. Deeper Than the Night, which is a good one, is from that album before. I like the song Xanadu, even though it's not the greatest.
I'm a huge ELO fan, so they did the music for Xanadu with her, and I'm a huge fan. Even at that period of their career when they were doing more disco than rock, Jeff Lynne's a genius.
Yeah, there's a couple of good. Actually, the soundtrack Tubes were on that.
Yeah, the Tubes were on it, and
ELO, and
there's a couple of good ELO songs on it, and
yeah,
she had Magic on there, which was a great song.
I think wasn't there was a duet with some other guys. Suddenly, I think that was on
yes,
that.
Cliff Richard.
Cliff Richard, yeah. But yeah, so anyway,
well, I mean, she does a duet with Gene Kelly too, but that one's not quite as as good.
Yeah.
But go see Xanadu if you haven't. It's fun.
Watch Xanadu and then watch the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band movie, which is equally as bad as Xanadu.
But Xanadu shouldn't have been good. Sgt. Pepper's probably should have been much better.
Or shouldn't have been made.
I would say that some of the music from Xanadu, some of it is still listenable. I won't say
Magic is a great song. That's
what I'm saying. It's just I'm saying some of the other, just you can separate it from the production, but yeah.
The Jeff Beck of the Warriors is not the Laurence Olivier.
It was his 17th minute of his 15 minutes of fame.
It's actually I actually like she made a horrible movie with John Travolta after that called was it called Twist of Fate? I don't know, but the song from that movie is actually really good. I do have that on my phone.
You mentioned that he wrote a really, really nice tribute to her.
Yeah,
I actually teared up when I read it.
A lot of people did. Big outpouring.
And they were friends their entire life from the time they worked together on. And I remember seeing an interview with him and him talking about her reaching out to him, when his wife passed away. And just
there's a lot of clips of them sort of over the years, like meeting up on shows and doing one of those songs and stuff. And that's always nice to see.
All right, so last question, maybe somewhat inappropriate given that we're doing a eulogy, but
I never
beginning of the movie Sandy or end of the movie Sandy from Grease?
Beginning.
Yeah, me too. Pure Sandy versus rocker leather clad Sandy.
I'll take end of the movie Sandy, but anyways, So, yeah.
All right,
anyways.
We'll move on. Olivia, you still have a special place in my heart, and I will certainly miss you. So, way too.
As will many. Again, tremendous lady. Yeah, and just like I said, both brilliant career and also as an activist is phenomenal. So, she did a lot with the little time she had.
Yeah. All right, let's go some actual random. Barry, I'm looking at you. What do you got? Or leave that maybe.
I know we've talked about this via text, but should we just spend a minute talking about the fact that the Batgirl movie will never ever be released?
Will it never ever be released? And that's what it's.
It will never be released. Did you read all the details?
I did. I'm wondering whether if the administration at HBO changes, whether somebody will pull this out.
I don't think they can.
They don't own it anymore.
They are writing it off completely, which means that as part of that process, they have to destroy it. It cannot ever be released.
It'll bootleg itself out somehow.
They lose the tax credit that they're getting.
That's the messed up thing.
Writing it off.
$90 million,
and they're only getting $30 million in tax credits. But if they ever officially release it, then they owe that money back.
So let me ask you this. Aren't some of these people have to be contracted to get, I would assume, to get a take, right? What happens?
It was destined for HBO Max too.
So
probably not.
Okay. So it was
originally slated for HBO Max. Then when Zaslav came in, he made the decree that all DC stuff's going theatrical. They're at an inflection point because if they were going to release it theatrically, they were going to have to probably put more money into it, and they just said, pull the plug, kill it. We've already spent enough.
There's a lot of big picture stuff going on. So they not only are they pulling the Scooby-Doo movie, which is completely done, they're doing the same thing. Tax right. They're looking to get their books in a completely different place. There are regular series that are completely done, like the second season of this show, Chad, completely done. Pulled the plug on that.
Well, that show sucked, by the way.
Well, that's not the point. They spend millions of dollars making it, so pull the plug, tax credit. They pulled the plug on a couple other shows. So they are, now they're talking merging Discovery Plus and HBO Max, which To me, I don't get, but they are spending however long, and I know we're getting a lot of money from different places. None of that's coming in. They're not spending money on anything. So they are getting
clear, when Dave's talking he's not talking the Regular Joe's podcast.
No, he's talking about his business.
He's talking about his professional career. But
so no, I mean, look, we've said it a million times. Dave and I both work in the television industry, so we both, aspects of this touch us in our business as well as on the podcast, just being fans of this stuff. But
yeah. So whatever they're doing, and you look at Discovery and Warner Brothers merge, Warner Brothers Turner merge. Discovery's got the lead. Discovery is, probably been more profitable. They have no very expensive shows. It's all reality-based stuff, and it's inexpensive. And they're trying to build a model that's, way more profitable.
Well, and I'm going to say what I'm about to say, honestly, knowing nothing about what's going on there, but just speculating, given what I know about the industry. For years, these companies made all these original programs based on their recurring subscription fees from cable customers. When they started, spinning off and creating their own streaming service, they had millions and millions and millions of paid cable subscribers, fees coming in that they were able to turn that into original programming. Cable subscribers are going down across the board as more and more people just go to streaming. And I don't think that they're making up the money that they were making by selling their subscription services as much as they thought they would. So all of this original programming is costing a fortune. And I think it seems like, from what I've read from the articles, they might be taking all of that original HBO Max programming, putting it back to HBO, and letting Discovery Plus be most of where the streaming is going to be. And they'll probably combine them and sell it like the way Hulu, ESPN, and what's the other one in there? Disney Plus sell their bundle. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy. So Kevin Smith told a story on one of his podcasts about a show that he was working. It was a DC made for HBO Max series that they were making that is now canceled. So he felt he could talk about it. And he had said he had directed a few episodes of The Flash and Supergirl, and he knew that they were spending $2 to $3 million an episode there. So when they asked him to come and write and direct one episode of an anthology DC show they were doing, he was like, "Oh, that's perfect. $2 to $3 million. That's right in my wheelhouse." And they were like, "No, it's $20 to $30 million an episode." They were literally going to spend $20 to $30 million an episode on an anthology series.
That's crazy.
So,
they
were spending a fortune.
That's the thing. You look at Snowpiercer, which we've talked about. One episode of Snowpiercer is the cost of a season of whatever.
Housewives of Beverly Hills or something.
Well, I was trying to think of a Food Network show. Guys.
Oh, yeah.
But they make the same amount of money in advertising.
Right.
And probably more. Well,
and all of the original series on HBO don't make any money from advertising because it's not an ad-supported channel yet.
It's a whole different story.
Although it's probably going to be, because they're going to probably have two tiers of HBO service. So, but yeah, it is.
Is HBO still suffering from not having a thing, not having the one thing that's the draw, which it seems like HBO has always been dependent on having their one core thing that's kept the subscribers in the hook?
Well, they were also, for the longest time, the only network with the one big thing. And now there's 10 networks that all have the one big thing.
Is House of the Dragon on Max or on HBO?
It's going to be on HBO, I think.
So that's their big thing. Yeah.
But like Euphoria was a big show for them, but it's a different audience.
They've got like one a quarter.
Yeah.
But you're right. You look at the Emmy nominations. It is all streaming. That's all anything that's nominated is streaming.
It's the best quality stuff.
It is. But I'm just saying, HBO is has a lot of competition.
But it's also that all the constraints of network TV are taken off streaming. Yeah. And that's why
I just don't know how much longer these guys are all going to be able to afford to make this very expensive programming.
I agree with that, but what I'm saying,
without the subscriber fees backing it up, because now they're making the programming assuming that will help them get the subscribers, and if they don't get that to that point, they're going to have to scale back.
We're at the infancy, so everyone's doing all these things and all these shows, but 5 years down the line, it's like we can't afford to do that stuff anymore. So it's
two of my absolute favorite shows are on Apple TV, and I watch these shows, and I'm amazed that
Ted Lasso,
which I still haven't watched. I'm amazed that they that's where these things are. And
it got 20 Emmy nominations.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the thing. But I'll tell you, Ted Lasso is the only thing that I ever talk to anybody about that's on Apple. That anybody talks about.
So obviously, For All Mankind. What's the other one you're watching on that you love so much on Apple?
Oh, the other one is Slow Horses. I talked about it. It's a spy thing. It's absolutely brilliant with Gary Oldman. It's brilliant. It's one of my favorite things I've seen.
Emmy nominations don't make you a penny.
No,
no, they don't. But it's
they love getting awards. But you're right.
It's interesting. It's very good in the beginning. So we'll see where all the.
It also draws your
streaming
talent
service that's 5 years old, other than Netflix.
Yeah.
Most of them are 3 years old.
Yeah. But I don't think all these players are going to stay in the field, but I think we're in a kind of platinum age right now. I don't want to say golden age, where we are the recipient of all this stuff because everyone's throwing what they can. Everybody's putting everything on the field, hoping that they're going to be the ones that take the
difference with Apple and Amazon is that they have very deep pockets from other businesses that can subsidize this. None of the other networks have that.
Yeah.
Including Netflix, by the way, who up until this point has been the golden goose, but even they're suffering. So,
but they're going to add
they're adding an ad.
We can go on and on about this all day. Let's go other random. Tom, what do you got?
Okay, I got a couple really quick things, and Pennyworth season 3. You see this? The new title. So Pennyworth, I have watched and enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Pennyworth. I think they're great. The 3rd season's coming October. The show has been retitled. This is on HBO Max. It is no longer Pennyworth. It is now Pennyworth: The Origin of Batman's Butler. That is the name of the TV show.
Is that what they? Well, I just got a call before I started. They pulled the plug on that too.
Did they seriously pull the plug on it? I'm not surprised.
Kind of like how they added Attorney at Law to the She-Hulk title.
Oh my God, yes, yeah. But you know what? That's funny, and that's
that doesn't.
Funny.
That makes sense. But this is like, just so you know who it is.
Just in case you've never heard of Pennyworth.
You didn't pick this up in the first 2 seasons, okay?
It's not Moneypenny. It's not from the Bond franchise.
Right. It's the other guy.
That's pretty
okay.
funny.
And then the other one with HBO Max is reportedly the Black Canary movie, which they talk about not at all, is still in development.
That's not going to happen.
And I also agree, but it's like it's just bizarre. Like I said, they killed the Batgirl movie, but supposedly this is happening.
Well, and somehow with the Flash is still happening too. So
yeah,
I just read an article about judgment. It's been testing well. But he just got arrested again in Vermont a couple days ago.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
They're going to release it without any press. They're going to have to. They can't put him on a press
I'll
junket.
tell you something. They are going to – I really believe they have so much lead time in this. I think they're going to minimize his role. I really do. I think they're going to – I think the –
But it's called The Flash.
Yeah, but it's he is the catalyst for that story. But I'm telling you, this will end up being – a multiverse story that he's the trigger for, but not the. It's.
If you're a movie studio, you don't want people coming to your movie just to watch the train wreck, which is what I think.
Oh my God! Yes.
The first opening weekend is just going to be people going to see how awful it really is.
Maybe it's good. Maybe he's just crazy.
I mean, how are they going to keep him getting arrested a week before? It's just yeah.
Or worse. Or worse. You don't know what. I mean, who knows? I don't want to speculate, but who knows what he's going to do between now and then?
Yeah. I think I mentioned this to you guys. Charges were actually filed against him at the county courthouse in the county I live in. It's 2 miles from me.
You got all the crazies in your town. What's going on?
But I'm telling you, it's like everywhere you go. This Hawaii, Vermont, Massachusetts. He's got something going on. This is not going to end well. And a year from now is not going to, it's going to be worse. So my last thing, I was I was dubious of the Sandman, and I will say I enjoyed the graphic novels back in the day. I reread them recently. They're very dense. There's a lot in there. Some of it's dated because it's tied into DC content from the 1980s, late 1980s, through early 90s. I am a tremendously huge fan of the audiobook, the live audio drama. It's not an audiobook that they've done over the last 2 years. The first two books are out. James McAvoy plays Dream in that, and it's a full cast, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely, I thought that was going to be the best adaptation of this. The Sandman TV series is effing brilliant. They took a thing that I did not think could be adapted in live action. I just didn't think it was possible. They stripped all of the comic book tie-in elements out of it in a very good way. And I'll say this: I'm not going to give. I'm trying not to give any spoilers. I'll say so. The essence of the story is it starts with, and you get this from the trailers. Dream, who is the Lord of Dreams, the Sandman, is captured by a human being and held prisoner for a period of time. That's actually all you need to know if you want to go watch episode 6, which is kind of a standalone thing. Episode 6 encapsulates my 2 favorite stories from the entire series. I was really dubious of this because of the casting. It's one of the best things. It's probably the best comic book adaptation thing I've seen on TV. And I haven't gotten past episode 6 because I've watched it 2.5 times now. It's absolutely phenomenal. So if you have any
started it yet.
If you have hesitation about watching this, if you don't know the source material, this is a great way to be drawn into it. Going back and reading the stuff, it's very dated. It's brilliant, but it's very dated. And everything that this is, like I said, it's getting tremendous acclaim and it deserves it. They've done a phenomenal job with this. And like I said, I cannot be happier to be wrong. Because like I said, I was very dubious of this, and God, I hope the next 4 episodes are as good as the first 6.
Barry, did you watch the trailer?
I watched the trailer, and I want to watch the show. I just haven't had time to watch it.
I watched the trailer and I was like, I don't know. I'll give it a shot though.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm open-minded.
Oh yeah, you're open-minded. And again, with what you know from the trailer, you could watch episode 6 and that will set the hook. And it's 2 standalone stories that fit together, but they're just great.
Are you suggesting people start with episode 6?
No, I'm saying if you're dubious and you just want to sample it, the other ones are kind of mythology that kind of feed into one another, and this is kind of a pause in the middle of the story.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's my two favorite stories. They were 2 different parts of the 2 different volumes of the book, and they're 2 standalone stories that have a bridge between them, and they piece them together, and it's a great insight into the character and the world he lives in, and they did it fantastically. I talked about this before. I really disagree with the casting of one of the characters, just based on a couple of things I'd seen, and they utterly nailed it. And I absolutely could not be happier with this. So,
all right, Barry, you got one other thing?
I got one other quick one. So, National Treasure: Edge of History is the Disney Plus TV series that's coming. Apparently, they have released some stuff now, and it is a continuation of the movies, just not with the main character, apparently.
So it's not recasting that character.
It's not recasting that character. Nick Cage isn't in it, but the guy that played Riley is in it.
Oh, he is. I like that guy. Isn't that the guy who plays the Flash?
No. Harvey Keitel apparently makes a cameo in it as his original character from the movies, too.
Is he dead?
No, Harvey.
Okay, sorry, Harvey.
And Catherine Zeta-Jones is in it. So 10 episodes. They said they're finished filming in post-production. It's a 22-year-old female lead who I maybe got the sense was related somehow to somebody, but I don't know.
That's an interesting way to go. Instead of recasting,
that's a different way to go. I like
that. Just being like, oh yeah, it's really the rest of us.
But it's a continuation of the story in some way, and even in the behind it, there was like a 2-minute sizzle reel they released. They show a lot of the artifacts from the first 2 movies Like, I don't know if they're in a museum or there's something.
What is his character doing? I mean, do they do?
I wonder if he has a cameo and
do
they're
they
just not saying it because that would be cool.
The Sean Connery thing from Crystal Skull, where they just have a little shot of his picture in the frame and everyone looks sad for a moment.
I don't know, but the Riley character, they showed him like getting off of what looked like a private plane, so he's involved.
We don't know when yet, though.
No, they just said coming soon. It's in post-production, so maybe by the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep me in the loop when it's coming, and I'll watch the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I love that the first movie. I liked the second movie, and I was hoping for something good out of this, but we'll see.
Yeah, into that. Okay. Everyone knows who Doug Liman is. He's directed a bunch of movies, including a favorite of ours, Edge of Tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So, and there have been a lot of talk of a sequel to Edge of Tomorrow. So, and then a
prequel, they were saying maybe a prequel to Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay, prequel, sequel, which we'd all love to see. Well, it's supposedly called Live, Die, Repeat Again.
Okay.
So, anyway, we'd love to see that. But instead, he's doing a remake of Roadhouse as his next movie. Starring Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm like, I like Jake Gyllenhaal. Roadhouse, I could take or leave. I don't really care. I know it's some people's favorite movie.
How could it possibly be anybody's favorite movie?
I know a guy who's his favorite movie. But, like, you could be making it. I guess you got to wait for Tom Cruise to get back from space to stop making that movie, which he's involved in also. But, like, so he's directing that. Like, you're remaking Roadhouse? What kind of thing is that? And there's some MMA guy in it too. So that's what Jake Gyllenhaal.
O'Connor or somebody or other,
he plays a former MMA fighter, and he's a bouncer. I mean, that movie was bad in the 80s, and the 80s was a lot of bad movies, so I don't know.
Will Jake Gyllenhaal have a mullet? That's what my question is.
I hope it'd be great if it took place in the 80s.
Yeah.
So unlike Roadhouse, you know who's awesome? Fanboy Collectibles.
Yeah, they are.
Check them out. So they were just at C2E2. Hopefully someone stopped by and saw them. Let us know if you did. Bought anything. I got to say, obviously we're doing a commercial, and Todd and I saw, well, you're not on social media, but we saw, like, we asked him, like, Troy, like, where's the booth? Is it somewhere? And he's like, no, it's all right there in boxes. If you saw the Instagram post of what all those boxes became, the booth is awesome.
Their preparation for this is amazing. He's got this down, but it's like just everything folds up and compacts, and it's like, and he's got all
these road case things. You've seen the booth before, but he's got a professional operation in the store and on the road and online, so you can't lose no matter what.
Yeah,
so they're awesome. But I don't know that there's too much new on the website. Did we talk about Hot Toys RoboCop, which is pretty awesome?
Diecast? Yeah, there was a few new things today.
Diecast RoboCop looks amazing. The new Spider-Man with the Sandman base, all that stuff looks amazing.
Yeah. There's a bunch cool new Thor statue that just came out that's in stock.
A lot of cool stuff. So
this is from the Thor is from the same series as the Iron Man that is like one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I got a news flash. Not on their website yet, but in stock is the Vision from.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So I just got the email that mine's in stock. So
wait! I got a different email.
Really?
I just remembered it. I have Vision on pre-order.
Yep.
I just got the Mirror Universe Spock is in stock.
Oh, interesting. Well, you should be getting a Vision email any minute now.
Jesus.
Mine's in stock, and that must mean yours is too. So
that's weird. I know I have it on pre-order.
I have my Mirror Universe Spock email.
Yeah, maybe he's like, let me not hit him with the two emails on the same day.
Though, you know what though? I will say this sometimes he gets orders in stages. So like I know his like the Captain America figures, he got those in like, we didn't see it on the website until he had the surplus ones in, but we had ours before his came up on the website because his pre-orders were getting filled from the different batches, but they came in batches.
And they'll do them in order. So anyway, so happy to happily pay for those. Check those guys out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out in the store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the Rega Joe sent you. Okay, The Boys. It ended a couple of weeks ago, I guess. I just finished it a few days ago, like maybe last week. So, and I know despite what Barry thinks, I was not turned off by the exploding penis. I mean, who is? But I just had a lot going on in other shows, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really liked the season.
Okay,
it had some crazy stuff, but I thoroughly enjoyed the season.
Yeah, me too. They definitely tried to outdo themselves as far as sort of shock value goes, and that's not something I feel like I need them to do. Like. This level of shock value is enough.
The first episode felt very gratuitous. The other spoilers, by the way, the hero-gasm or whatever that was called was just sort of funny. So
the octopus stuff was hilarious too.
Yeah.
I like the. I continue to really like the show. I like the things that they do. I think that there's. They keep coming up with ways of being unpredictable, okay? But also, where things are going to go, but you don't know how it's going to get there.
Yeah.
And that's like I love that poor Huey, managed to get a superpower that's actually useful, except that his clothes don't teleport with him.
Yeah.
And then, God forbid, he teleports someone with him. They also lose their clothes.
I did like, and I know we've talked about this with other shows, and I mean, it's hard to remember all the seasons of everything, but this season definitely had the core group together. Where I felt like last season they were a little spread apart.
Yep.
Am I right with that?
Yeah,
they spent some time apart in this one too.
But it seemed like they're all sort of, we wanted, but they were more together than I felt like they were last year. Maybe I remember.
What I also liked was that they, like, one way or another, Butcher screwed over all of them, and the end justifies the means is the principle he operates on, and they're not forgiving him. They're not letting that go, and I think I think in some ways that's very realistic. I also think it's very realistic that this guy, for who he is that single-minded and just can't get it. Can't focus on anything but his revenge mission. The
thing that I just don't know how long they can go on with, and maybe it'll go on forever. But the fact that Homelander they've got nothing that can stop him, and they tried real hard this season and they couldn't do it. So if he's already fairly evil, if he goes full on evil, like. What could they possibly do to stop him?
We know what's going to stop him. Okay. And I think.
I think, yeah.
Yes. Okay. His son is going to stop him. His son will be the thing that stops him. Okay. But I thought
his son is on his side as of the end.
Now he is.
But yes and no. But I think push will come to shove, and his son is going to be the thing that ends him. I thought the addition of Captain America, Winter Soldier, Soldier Boy, and it really was. It's like a fusion of those two characters in this one character,
as like Hugh Hefner
with and a sociopath. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really, really well done. And it was a minor character in the books, and they expanded it and did a really good job with that.
Yeah, they did a good job, and I do think the Homeland. We'd always you never get to it in Superman because he's good unless he's got some black kryptonite or whatever the hell color makes him bad. But like somebody who has ultimate power, what do you do? And it's crazy. I Maeve put up a pretty good fight. She definitely seemed stronger than we thought she was. But
yeah.
You know which character I really like is the I'm trying to remember her character's name. I think maybe it's Ashley. She's the woman who's kind of in charge of the company now.
Ashley, yeah. There's the two Ashleys.
But she's losing her mind and having she's pulling all of her hair out to the point where she's wearing a wig because she can't handle the stress.
Yeah, they've actually done a good job with her going from being like the toady assistant to being like the and
all the characters. I mean, there's not a single. All the characters are well fleshed out. They've all got their, they're all interesting. They've all got all their crazy stuff, their baggage. There's no one that's like, oh, that's sort of a weak character.
I mean, I don't even know how much more there is to say because everybody's probably seen it already. But it's very happy with it.
Yeah, the Deep is so great and pathetic. It's not.
Oh my God,
funny.
yeah,
and I love that character.
And the Klingon wife with the just.
Both when he tried to convince her to have the three-way with the octopus, that was one of the funniest scenes.
Yeah. She's both manipulating him and then gets in over her head. It's like, and I like I said, I thought that was great. They just do good things with all the characters. I also find Annie Starlight very believable. Okay,
no, she's good,
and
I really like her.
And she seems like the anchor point for a lot of, where everybody else kind of goes out in the extreme. She seems to be the only one that's really grounded at any given time. And her arc in this season was good too. And I would say the stuff they did with Black Noir.
That was crazy.
With the cartoon animals.
Was totally
crazy.
Brain fried and just be, yep.
They definitely push the boundaries of stuff just to make it nutty.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely worth watching if you haven't watched it. It's definitely gory, over the top gory.
Yeah, but not something you want to watch with the kids, but definitely
if you are sensitive to gore and easily offended, this is not the show for you.
No, not at all.
Yep.
But if you liked Peacemaker, this is right up your alley.
Oh yeah, this
came first. So
no, I know, but I'm just saying if you've seen that.
But yeah, no, it's.
But this is just and Butcher. You talk about Butcher. It's very hard to make a very likable character who's a freaking piece of shit. I mean, he's very likable, but he is just screwing everyone over.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
But
can I just say, I freaking love Karl Urban. I gotta say, it's like he's great in everything. In everything he's done. They've teased a Dredd series forever with him in it, and I really hope they at some point do that. But just absolutely terrific.
He's a chameleon too because he shows up in a lot of things, and
again, this guy.
Go, oh wait, that's Karl Urban.
This guy is Dr. McCoy and Billy Butcher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. So check it out if you haven't checked it out. Okay. Next thing we all watched was Lightyear. It's on Disney Plus now. Didn't do much in the box office. I mean,
and is very low rated, extremely low rated.
I wonder why that is.
I've read a lot of speculation about whether people fully understood what it was. And when you watch the movie, and I'm not giving anything away, when you watch the movie,
give spoilers.
In the first 10 seconds of the movie, they tell you exactly what this movie is.
Which is,
but that should have been part of the ad campaign.
Not what I thought it was. Not that it's a big deal.
Likewise, Dave. I was also very surprised that they could have done this movie and ended the movie with it opening up to a shot in a movie theater and having the kid watching the movie and then walking home and seeing the toy in a window or something. They could have made it without setting up and telling you this was the movie that inspired the toy. I don't know why they framed it quite the way they did.
But that should have been in the ad campaign because that would have probably helped people understand it.
But I thought, when I saw the commercials and stuff and heard about it, I thought it was, here's the real person
the toy was based on.
That the toy was made from. That the toy came out of. Yes. Almost like, is there a toy that came from a real person? I don't even know.
Well, there was a Donald Trump doll a while back.
But I know what you're saying.
But I'm saying, but that's what I thought they were saying. It's like, it had nothing to do with Toy Story, but here's a toy that's on the shelf that was inspired by this person. No. I like the idea that here's a toy that was in Toy Story that Andy got, and he got it because the toy came from this movie.
He went to see a movie.
Totally should have said
it was his favorite movie ever, and he bought the toy based on the movie. That's the premise.
Why they never said that, I don't know.
Would have made more sense to me that.
But you want to know why? I'm curious. I'm sure they've thought about it more than we're thinking about it, but that means something to us. But you want a 9-year-old to go see a Pixar movie, and the 9-year-old has no idea about Toy Story.
I feel like you need an implicit tie-in, whether somebody takes a VCR tape out of a case, puts it in the player, and that's where it starts, or something like that. And I get what they did but the thing at the beginning just felt like it was just, oh yeah, that's how we're going to explain it. And
well, that might also have been tacked on after test screenings.
That's the way
I feel like
getting
it.
That is the way I felt. I felt like it was missing context, and that's what they did to do it. And I think that, like I said, a scene of him putting the VCR tape in, or with his 2 toys laying on the floor, or something like that, would have been a cool.
But the marketing campaign may not have resonated with most people who they need to go see this. That's the problem.
But I feel like the people you're going to get to see this are people who like the Toy Story movies. I think they tried to sell it like a Pixar sci-fi movie, but it is, but it's not
a tricky thing for that audience too, because it's a very different story. Be honest with you, I liked it. I
liked it too.
It's a Pixar sci-fi movie.
Do you think
more story here than I thought we were getting?
I thought it was a complete.
They presented a very simple premise in the previews. Where you thought he just made the single jump, and then it was 20 years, 30 years, whatever in the future.
I thought he was lost in space, like Buck Rogers,
and then comes back. I really liked the every 4
I thought that was
thing.
clever. You don't see something like that.
No, it was. It was.
No, they handled time travel they handled a complex time travel story in a way that was easy to digest. And then that doesn't happen that often.
Then I don't know if we're going spoilers or not, but the twist.
No, spoilers. There are spoilers.
The twist of the alternate version, I thought was done well. I thought.
I don't know that we needed it, but
I felt like he became the person he was as we were watching him become the person he was, and this person was on a completely different track.
Well, and I had a bit of a problem with that, and I don't know from a continuity standpoint, and I know I'm talking about a Pixar movie here, but in Toy Story 2, Zurg was Buzz's dad, not Buzz himself.
Oh, I wouldn't have remembered that at all.
Well, I had kids at that point who watched Toy Story 2 5,000 times. I know it by heart. And Zurg is
Oh, that's
Buzz's
pretty
dad.
weird. I wonder if that turned off hardcore Pixar.
That was the only problem I had with the whole movie. I really enjoyed it, but that part of it, I'm like, this isn't my story.
Why make the good guy the bad guy? I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, it was a direction, but I thought the other characters were great. Okay. You, elderly convict woman.
I love the cat. I thought the cat was
the cat was
great too.
And I really thought, I was like, seeing that, I'm like, Pixar has to have a sad moment. I'm like, that cat may not make it. And
I got done watching that. My takeaway was, let's see if there's a little socks figure. I'd get him.
I would totally get him. I love that
one.
cat. The things, the stuff, the glow dart coming out of his mouth.
Random things that he could do.
Oh,
like the torch. But I love that when he spits and he knocks the person out, and he says he'll be out for 5 minutes, and he was like, wait a minute, did they do that so you could knock me out? And he's like, we should get going.
That was very cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think people had issue that Tim Allen wasn't the voice? Do you think the general public cares about that?
Some people
there's a little stink about that, but also I don't think we've ever gotten a toy that was based on a real person that sounded like the real person. So, I think those two things to me need to be separated. The easy fix for that would have been, instead of getting Josh Brolin to play old Buzz, getting Tim Allen to play old Buzz.
Yeah.
But this was a different thing. Again, this was I
enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. It moved well. It was interesting. It wasn't like, oh, I knew exactly what was happening.
And
Barry,
the animation.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to go back to the Toy Story 2 thing. In Toy Story 2, it was a moment that was kind of played off almost as a joke because of the Luke, I am your father thing. So
that's what I think.
They made Zurg his father, and then the two of them went off and played ball together, and it was a whole thing. But my real point, though, is the animation was beautiful in this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it really was.
It really took Pixar, to me, up to, because we've seen a lot of beautiful Pixar animation, but never like this much of a sci-fi. The ship designs were amazing. The action sequences were amazing.
Did you pick up the ship, the last ship that he was in at the end? Did you catch that? The design of that ship? That was the packaging.
Oh yeah, it was the packaging.
That was the ship that was the Buzz Lightyear
yeah.
packaging. The one he flew away in had that wedge shape to it, and with the same window. Yeah, very very, very cool.
I liked it.
Like I said,
I'm surprised it didn't do as well. It definitely deserved to do better.
It's like I said, it's very low rated. I think it's like I said. I think it's deserves better than it's gotten. I think it was probably released at an odd time. I also don't know if it really was pitched to the right audience.
I wonder if there's like hardcore Toy Story people. It's like, that's not Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear's this.
Yeah, and
like,
that's just it too. I mean, Evan grew up on Toy Story and really liked it. You know, we love the movie, and I still have some of his toys around. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant movie. This is a different thing entirely.
It's different, yeah.
Well, and my kids grew up on Toy Story 2, and you know they
2 or also
2, but they've gone back and watched all of them and love all of them. But none of them were interested when I said, "Hey, I'm watching this tonight. Does anybody want to watch it?" None of them were all like,
"Really?"
That's interesting.
Do you think that's because they're older, or just
I
there's
just
something
don't think
that turned them off on?
They just weren't interested based on what they had seen.
Mark grew up on Toy Story, and he was interested in watching and really enjoyed it. Oh, wait. We watched it without him. He wanted to watch it. Then he went out with girls and stuff.
That's probably why my kids were busy doing other things too. But yeah,
again, I would recommend it to be watching. I thought it was a clever story. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
It was, you know, they worked in a lot of tropes. I love the other characters. The guy who I thought was impersonating Taika Waititi, was actually him.
I know. I looked that up too. I wasn't sure if that was him.
I thought he was like doing an impersonation of him, and it was him.
Yeah.
I thought that character was fun. I love the pen. You know, like the one thing useful he can find in a suit is the pen included, like a Samsung phone.
I liked it. I definitely liked it.
And I if you gave this movie a pass, I would definitely, now that it's streaming, give it a try. See what you think. I think you know, and go in with an open mind. It's though we pretty much spoiled it.
But still, it's fun.
It's fun.
It's a fun, and especially like you said, now that it's streaming, there's very little reason not to give it a try.
Yeah.
So
okay, let's go. What's in the box? Todd, I'm looking up Sox figures. There's a plush big one, and then there's a little one with Buzz.
I want the little one. So
there's a little. So there's a pop.
No pops.
No pops. Anyway, there's an interactive motion control one that's $80.
Okay, yeah. I'll get that in closeout.
Get that and get your interactive Lola from Obi-Wan, which is also
that's out there
now.
too.
Yeah, it is.
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Todd, what's in the box?
Okay, long-awaited Iron Man from
Endgame.
Endgame. Thank you. I was saying Infinity War. Battle damaged version of Iron Man from Endgame. This is an awesome figure. I will say it's also the only Hot Toys figure I've ever cut myself on. Some of this plastic is sharp, people. It's extremely well done. The battle damage and you know, all the weathering kind of stuff is great. I just turned on the lights here, but you can't see it. And nope, you can't see it. And
kind of see it.
Yeah. Just great. It's a terrific depiction of him at the end of that battle. I will probably always display it in the kneeling, I am Iron Man position.
Mm-hmm.
He is mythic scale. He is not 1/6 scale. This figure is fully 13 inches tall. He is taller than most of my other Iron Man figures. I think again in the legend is always bigger than the man. This is his final moments. So
I think Robert Downey Jr. went to Hot Toys and said, "Look, if I'm going to continue to let you make my figures, you need to make me taller."
Yeah.
Taller
than anybody.
The dude is 5'8". This figure is taller than Captain America.
Yeah.
Okay. It's there's no way the suit makes him that much taller. But again, I don't begrudge him that. So it's neat. It's also probably the base was kind of dual designed. It's like a chunk of rock, but it's got little imprints for his legs to fall in there. It's also got a stand so you can have him flying. But if you take the stand off, it's got little imprints for his legs to approximate that position. And this is probably the only Hot Toys stand that I'll actually use other than Superman. So super well done. Great figure. It is the ultimate Iron Man figure. I don't go in for battle damage stuff ever, really, because I kind of like things in the original form. But this is a moment. This is a significant moment, and probably the most significant moment in Marvel history. So that is my thing. And again, long wait for this figure, but Troy's
regular one was out a year ago. The non-battle damage.
Yeah. It's been a long wait. Probably one of the longest I've waited for Hot Toys figures, but amazing execution. And they actually said, this is the only time I've ever seen this happen. Hot Toys apologized about 6 months ago for the wait for this and said that they have not been happy with the results so far, and that when it comes out, they want to be satisfied with this figure. And that was on their official Facebook page. So very interesting, but it's like I said, it's pretty amazing looking. So, and again, you get the battle damage. There are mixtures of like glossy satin and flat, where the burns are and stuff. The burns actually look like burns and charring and stuff. And it's very, very well done. So that's what I've got this week. Barry, what do you got?
I have a 50th anniversary Lucasfilm Black Series figure of George Lucas as a Stormtrooper.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which I ordered 6 months or a year ago, some long period of time ago. And I will say I'm somewhat disappointed with the execution on the face because it doesn't really look anything like George Lucas. It just looks like
it's guy with a
hair and a beard.
Dude with a lot of hair on top of his head and a beard, and it's gray.
That's not the thing from Celebration this year, is it?
No. This was before I ordered it before that.
Yeah.
So it was not expensive, so I'm not gonna cry about it. It's not like I bought a Hot Toys figure and it doesn't look good, but it's cool. I mean, it looks nice on the card. You guys know I love Stormtroopers, so
yeah, yep.
And those are out there on a few sites right now. You can get it on Amazon now. But I ordered it from Big Bad Toy Store because I wanted one that was because you can pay a little extra to them and they'll make it in collector's grade, they call it. So it came in this bag, in a box, inside a box, and it is in perfect condition.
Good. That's the way it should be.
It just doesn't look like George Lucas, so that's kind of a bummer. But anyway, that's what I got. Dave, what do you got?
All right. I am not holding it up because it's outside, but it did come in a box. I did get it from Amazon. So we had wanted outdoor speakers in our backyard for a long time, and I've been using one of those portable Bluetooth speakers, and I'm debating on which way to go. I've seen some of those rock speakers, and they had ones that were wireless, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then you realize you have to charge them. I'm like, that doesn't go. Then there's solar outdoors. And I'm like, you want to know something? Let me bite the bullet. I got wired Bluetooth speakers that you plug in. I have outlet near.
Is this for by the pool or by?
you're saying
I was
wired-
trying not to
wired
say
for
by
power.
the pool, but yeah,
Wired
it's by
for
the
power,
pool.
but Bluetooth connection.
By
Right. A lot of people have pools, Dave.
Okay. It's by the pool, behind the grotto, near the tennis court, and
By the lazy
dock.
river.
It's a joke. So yeah, not near the pool. So I was able to okay, I have power out there. I could run some wire under the rocks, and then the second speaker is not powered, but it has to get done wired with speaker wire. So I'm like, all right. I was trying to avoid all that. I'm like, let me do it. So around the pool, there's a fence, but there's also river rock in bed. So I was able to bury the wire under the river rock. So I'm going to tell you, I got Pile, not expensive. These are $140. Pile. I'll give you Bluetooth outdoor speakers. The sound is phenomenal. I was shocked. I literally have them 40 feet apart. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to sound good because I put them in each corner. I was going to then move around. The sound is amazing. I was shocked by that. And I'm not a sound guy, but, there's a ton of bass, which you don't get from these sort of Bluetooth speakers. So much so
great.
that I ordered, we have a black fence, I got the black ones. I ordered a white pair for the deck, and I installed them too, and super impressed. So I'll even give you, if anyone out there wants outdoor speakers that are great, the PDWR62BT, $138 on Amazon. Take a little work to plug them in and run some wires, but the sound is amazing.
No, that's great. And they're outdoor waterproof.
Outdoor waterproof.
Yeah, I have Polk outdoor waterproof speakers in my yard that I keep out all from the spring until the fall and then take them in for the winter. But I have them wired to my shed where I have a receiver.
Yeah.
You don't have a building there to put them in.
Well, I do.
The
There's a shed there now. But
do you have power in that?
No, but the power's not. But the Bluetooth works great. I was super impressed with the Bluetooth.
Yeah, well, what I did for mine, I got a Bluetooth receiver that connects to my amplifier, which I use that, and now I actually installed that on an Amazon Wemo plug. So I come out in my backyard to barbecue, I hit a button on my phone, it turns the receiver on, I just Bluetooth right from my phone. I never even have to go in the shed anymore. Yeah, if what you have sounds like an awesome solution too.
Yeah, I don't know why I avoided it. There's a lot of noise in that sort of outdoor speaker scenario, but I was super
most of what
these.
They advertise, like you were saying, the rocks and all that stuff. In my opinion, it's all garbage. Get real speakers like you did, like what I did, and sound
these are
great.
pretty big. These are about 12 inches tall. They have a 6.5 inch woofer. The ones I got the SNCS size down for the deck because it's a smaller area. It's a 5.5 inch woofer. They come in black or white. I'm super impressed.
Awesome.
I got to say. So anyway, that's within the box, all from Amazon. That's the story. God knows why I would ask. Is there any last thoughts?
I don't have any last thoughts this week.
That's fine because every time I don't ask last thoughts, someone's like, "You didn't ask for last thoughts." So a lot of stuff coming up. We're gonna start talking about. There's She-Hulk, Resident Aliens coming up.
Resident Alien comes back this week.
Today.
Yeah.
Tonight. I Am Groot, the 6-minute shorts, that's out today. House of the Dragon. There's something else in later August.
She-Hulk.
No, yeah, after that. Andor. Oh God, Andor. That's
Andor's October now.
September.
September. You're right. September.
Yeah, but there's some. Anyway, lots of more. The year of plenty of stuff keeps coming. So check it all out. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.